Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? Hope everybody is doing amazingly well. Welcome back to another lesson of English with Ashish. And, guys, today in this lesson, we are going to master type 2 conditional sentences. We're going to learn what a type 2 conditional sentence is, how it looks like, and how to use it correctly in a sentence. So, make sure you watch the video until the end. I'm excited as always. I know you guys are too. Let's do it. Alright guys, now let's understand what exactly a type 2 conditional sentence is. So guys, a type 2 conditional sentence, also known as second conditional sentence or conditional sentence type 2, refers to a condition, right? A situation that is either impossible or unlikely to happen, unlikely to be true in the present, alright? And its result clause in the present or near future, in the present or very close to the present, that is near future. All right, so it's a conditional sentence that has a condition and its result, and it refers to a hypothetical situation. So we use second conditional sentences whenever we want to talk about something that is opposite to reality. Whenever you want to talk about something that is not going to happen, that is not the case, you use type 2 conditional sentence. And we use type 2 conditional sentence mostly to refer to situations where something would have been possible, something that is not possible in the present, but would have been possible in a certain condition. That is absolutely hypothetical, imaginary. All right. Unlikely to be true. Okay. Now let's look at the structures. There are two structures that it can come in, or it generally is in. All right. Number one, condition clause. It has if, all right, followed by the subject, followed by the subjunctive verb, followed by the subject complement, right? Now a subject complement is either a noun or an adjective. Then the result clause. The result clause has the subject followed by the modal verb would, auxiliary verb, followed by the main verb in the base form. If the verb is transitive, it's going to have its object right after it. But if the verb is not transitive, if it's intransitive, it's not going to have an object. Its object, it might have a modifier after it. All right. Now, the structures, the placement can be reversed as well. The result clause can come in the beginning and it can come later as well. This is possible. All right. Now, the second structure. First, the if clause, starting with the conjunction if, followed by the subject, followed by the verb. Again, if the verb is transitive, it's going to have its object. If it's not transitive, if it's intransitive, it's not going to have its object. It might have a modifier if needed. All right. Then the result clause, which has the subject and would, modal verb, auxiliary verb, followed by the main verb in the base form. Right. These are the two structures it comes in. Okay. Now let's look at some examples and understand how these sentences are used. Example number one. If I were the Prime Minister of India, if this was the case, if I were the Prime Minister of India, this would happen. I would give every student a laptop for free. But you guys know I'm not the Prime Minister of India and I do not have the capacity to give every student a laptop for free. So this situation is not true. It cannot happen in the present. This is absolutely imaginary, right? But I really want to do that. I want to give every student a laptop for free, but that's not possible. So I'm just imagining something. I'm imagining the scenario, the situation where it would be possible. And here's the condition. If I were the Prime Minister of India, because if I were, I would have a lot of freedom, I would have a lot of authority, and I would have a lot of money as well, which I don't have in the present. Okay, so this is a situation where I would be able to do something in the present or maybe near future, which I'm not able to do because of not having this condition, because of not being the Prime Minister of India or not having a lot of money. Okay. Or I could say, let's change it. If I had a lot of money, a lot of money, if I had a lot of money, which I don't have, I would give every student a laptop for free. So we're employing this type 2 conditional sentence to talk about something that is not possible, that is opposite to reality. Okay. Second example. If I had a number, I would give it to you. You come to me asking for Ria's number. You come to me asking for Ria's number. Okay. And you know, I don't have her number. You don't know that. Okay. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to me. But the problem is, I can't give her number to you because I don't have it. But if I had it, if I had her number, if that was true, I would give it to you. I cannot give it to you. I'm not able to give it to you in the present because I don't have it. But if I had her number, I would give it to you. This would be possible in the present or near future if this was the case. But since this is not the case, this is also impossible. Okay? Third example. We would travel the world if we had a lot of money. We would do this. See, the result clause is coming in the beginning here. Okay. Whenever the result clause in any conditional sentence, not just type 2 conditional sentence, in any conditional sentence, whenever the result clause comes in the beginning or the main clause comes in the beginning and the subordinate clause comes after it, we're not going to employ a comma. We're not going to use a comma. But whenever the order is reversed, whenever the subordinate clause, the dependent clause comes before the main clause, we have to use a comma after it. You can see example number 1, example number 2, we have commas after the dependent clause. But here in the third example, the main clause is coming before the dependent clause, and whenever that's the case, we do not employ a comma. We do not use a comma. All right. So we would do this. This would happen in the present or near future if this was the case. If we had a lot of money. See, the reality is, let me write down the reality for you guys. I want you to understand each and everything. All right. There is no hurry. Understand things. See, I do not have, or we, or let's say we do not have a lot of money, causing we would not travel the world. We do not have a lot of money, and because of which we can't or or will not travel the world. Simple. So this is the real situation that we have, right? We do not have a lot of money, and because of which we cannot travel the world. We will not travel the world. But imagine if this was the case in present. If I were in this situation, I would do this. I would be able to do this, right? If I had a lot of money, if we had a lot of money, we would be able to travel the world, which we're not able to do right now in the present. Okay. Now we can use modal verbs can, could, may, might in the result clause, right? To talk about the possibility or the capability of an event. All right. For example, she could join us. She could join us if she came back, but she hasn't come back. This is the reality. She hasn't come back, and she would not be able to join us, right? But if she came back, if this was the case, let's suppose she is in Mumbai right now and you guys are in Delhi, all right, and there's a party that's taking place and you want her to come to the party, join the party, but that's not happening because she's in Mumbai. Okay, but if she was in Delhi, she would come to the party. That means, oh, that's going to happen, absolutely, no, sure, all right. But you can refer to its possibility using could, can, may, might, right? If it's not 100% sure. If she came back, she could join us. It's not sure that she would, she could join us. She may join us. All right. Second example. If you taught her, she might pass the exam. All right. See, you think she might not gonna pass the exam because you are not teaching her. But if you taught her, if she's being taught by you, if you're teaching her, she might pass the exam. Again, might. Okay, that's not sure. Okay, you're not certain about it. She might pass the exam. She may pass the exam. She could pass the exam. She would pass the exam. So you can use models, right? Now, let's talk about all its usage, all the situations where a type 2 conditional sentence is used or can be used. All right. Situation number one, to give advice. This is very, very sweet. We often use type 2 conditional sentences to give advice. What type of advice? Let's check out. Example number one. If I were you, I wouldn't hide this from my father. So you're hiding something from your father. So here's my piece of advice for you. If I were you, if I were in your situation, I wouldn't do what you're doing. You're doing something, you're hiding some information from your father. So I say, if I were in your situation, I would not be doing this. If I were you, I would not hide this from my father. So you're hiding something from your father, and I advise you not to do it. Second, if we were you, if we were in your shoes, if we were in your situation, we would take this offer. So there's an offer that you've gotten from somebody, but you're not taking the offer because of, let's say, XYZ reason. All right. But we think that's a mistake. So we say, if we were you, obviously we cannot be you. This situation is absolutely imaginary. Obviously, I can't be you. All right. So it's imaginary. All right. But we give advice this way. All right. uh, if we were you, we would take the offer. We would take the offer. You can make it negative as well. We would not take the offer. Let's say you're taking the offer and we think it's a mistake. So we would say, hey, if we were you, we would not take the offer. All right. That's usage number one, situation number one. Usage number two, to give the reason for a situation. Okay. If there's a situation and you want to explain it, you can use a type 2 conditional sentence to explain it. All right. How? Let me show you how. Situation. I will not work in your company. See, that's a situation going on. You want me to work in your company and I'm not willing to do that. I say I will not work in your company. And the justification is, I'd work in your company if Shruti weren't here. See, that is the reason why I do not want to work in your company. I would work in your company. I would work in your company if Shruti weren't here. If the situation weren't there, this would happen. So I'm explaining why this situation is like this. I would work in your company. In what scenario? If Shruti weren't here. Were here is the subjunctive. Okay? I can't join you. That's another situation. I cannot join you. Justification. If my parents weren't home, if my parents were not home, I would join you. See, that is why I cannot join you, because my parents are at home. But if they weren't at home, or if they weren't home, I would join you. Okay. So you can give the reason for a situation using a type 2 conditional sentence. Third, to make a polite request. That's very, very common. If you want to make a request, or if you want somebody to do something for you, or if you want to do something and check if you doing that is okay with somebody, you can use a type 2 conditional sentence and do that successfully, politely. See how? Example number one. Would you mind if I used your laptop for a day? Okay. Would you mind? Would that be a problem if I did this? Okay. So I'm imagining it. Okay. See, if I used your laptop for a day, would that trouble you? Would that bother you? Right. I can also say, would you be fine if I use your laptop for a day? Will it be okay if I use your laptop for a day? That is also fine. But this is more formal. All right. Would you mind if I used past your laptop for a day? Okay. Taking permission. Would it be a problem if we asked you to take a picture of us? All right. Would it be a problem if we do this? If we asked you to take a picture of us, if we did this, all right? Assume if we did this, would you be fine? Would it be a problem with you? All right. So we can make a polite request using a type 2 conditional sentence. Situation number four, where it's used to dream about a situation that is impossible or unlikely. See, sometimes you have a certain condition, you have a certain situation, and You're not happy with that situation. You want to have the opposite situation. All right. So what do? You just dream about it. Okay. Like everybody does. Example number one. If I were tall and handsome, she would go out with me. See, she's not going out with me. She refuses to go out with me because I'm not tall and handsome. And tall and handsome is what she likes. So I imagine if I were like this, if I were tall and handsome, she would go out with me. She would date me. Okay. But that's not happening. Second example, if I had a lot of money, I told you I don't. But if I did have a lot of money, I would buy a lot of cars. I'm not in a position to buy a lot of cars, not even one. But if I had a lot of money, imagine me having billions of dollars. What would I do? I would buy a lot of cars, bro, if I had a lot of money. But that's not the case. I don't have a lot of money, and because of which I cannot buy a lot of cars. Not even singular, just a car. Okay, so this is how we use a type 2 conditional sentence. I hope now you understand what a type 2 conditional sentence is, how to use it, when to use it. We generally use it whenever we want to talk about something that is opposite to reality. Okay, now you guys have to make some sentences, right? And write down in the comment section. If you have any doubts, any questions, let me know, and let me know how you found the video. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, press that notification button so that every single time I come up with a sweet video, you get notified and you get to watch it right away. And nothing. I'll see you guys very soon. Till then, keep learning, have fun. I'm out now.